A live-action Legend of Zelda series made by Netflix. The show is even described as a family-friendly version of Game of Thrones. So in other words, everyone is going to die in the end, but in a family-friendly sort of way. So Majora's Mask 3D, it's finally here. Considered the cult classic of the Zelda series for a reason. This game just exhibits this aura of desperation while making the player become immersed in a beautiful yet bizarre environment. But blowing up moons aside, some massive tremors have been occurring news-wise. So we got Majora's Mask 3D, some Twilight Princess 3DS rumors, along with news of a Zelda Netflix series. Wow, ain't that for a Valentine's Day weekend. But before we talk about the Zelda Netflix series, there are some notable bits of information regarding other pieces of news. The first of which are the recent Majora's Mask 3D interviews dealing with IG Aonuma. When asked about his experiences in developing the recently released remake, he explained that developing remakes can be discouraging. Really, what he means by this statement is that he always criticizes himself about the games he has made and how he could potentially make them better. Kind of like how an artist can never truly appreciate the art that he creates. While this piece of information isn't too noteworthy, IG Aonuma should be commended immensely for his endeavors. After all, Majora's Mask originally took a year to develop, and considering the sheer impact the game has on the world, it really is admirable. Moving on, the rumor mill has been busy as of late. Apparently there are rumors, again rumors, that a Twilight Princess remake is in development for the Nintendo 3DS. This rumor began when a couple of GameStop employees have supposedly received information from a Nintendo representative that a Twilight Princess 3DS remake is coming out. Well, let's say for a moment that the information is viable. For example, if a Twilight Princess remake came out, it would have to be in 2016. 2015 already hosts two releases of Zelda games, Majora's Mask 3D and Zelda Wii U. 2016 is also the 30th anniversary of the Zelda series. A Zelda remake of some kind will seem appropriate. Maybe it could coincide with the live-action Zelda series that Netflix is producing, but I do have my reservations about this. If I'm being completely honest here, I would prefer a Twilight Princess remake if it's in development on a home console, not a handheld. My main reason for saying this is because I love the way the Wii U brought out Wind Waker's color palette in a home console remake. Needless to say, I would like to see Twilight Princess receiving a similar treatment. That being said, I would not put that much merit into this rumor. After all, based on Aonuma's heartfelt interviews, he is completely or mostly focused on Zelda Wii U. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the Zelda Netflix series that is breaking the internet. News about this project came out of the Wall Street Journal. Nintendo themselves are really capitalizing on this show. Other than that, it appears that this show is in pre-production, and as a result, the show is subject to massive amounts of speculation. To make sense of it all, I called up the biggest Zelda fans I know, my good old war buddies known as HMK and Commonwealth Realm, to talk about this. For the first 30 minutes, the guys and I discussed some really neat Zelda topics, so enjoy.
This can be so awesome, or it can be so bad.
Exactly.
It's like there's no middle ground when it comes to something like this. It's one of those projects where it's like it has to be abnormally good or it has to be painfully disgusting. Zelda, a live-action TV series. For the most part, I believe in Netflix because they've made stellar TV shows like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black, but at the same time they made some nasty things like that.
Regardless, I'm still curious on what they really have to offer in terms of how they are going to represent the Legend of Zelda series in a live-action portrayal. As you said before, HMK, they could either make it or break it with this one, because obviously we have seen bad things when it comes to Zelda mediums outside of Nintendo. For example, the Zelda CDI games or that Zelda cartoon thing that did a while back, which I didn't think was too bad, but like as a children's cartoon, it was passable, but in terms of hardcore fans, it was kind of bad. But regardless, I am curious about this since they have stated that it's going to be like a family-oriented Game of Thrones, and so I am curious on that end.
Yeah, I'm really like when they said like family-oriented Game of Thrones, I'm like, I can really see that happening. I can already picture it in my head, but I mean like no focus on blood, and definitely no sex or any of that stuff. But I mean like I want to see how they handle it. I want to see if they're gonna go like family friendly, of course, but like family friendly oriented stuff have the capacity to be dark and still family friendly. And I just want to know what spectrum they're gonna go towards. You know, like this is gonna be like a dark fantasy, it's gonna be like a warm-hearted fantasy. Which way are they gonna go? And also the big question that everyone's asking is that how are they gonna adapt Zelda into a live action series. A lot of people are thinking that, oh, they're gonna take a particular game, or they're gonna take each season based on a game series. This may be an entirely new story that can take place alongside the games in the chronology, which I highly doubt. But in my opinion, I think that this series may be like an amalgamation of all of the Zelda games and into its own coherent story, and it's gonna borrow a lot from different other games. Like it might incorporate a new Link and a new timeline, but there's gonna have a lot of familiar items and stuff, like of course the Gerudo Desert, Lake Hylia, all those land points, and they're gonna have items like the Ocarina of Time, the Goddess Harp, and like all these weapons and items that are from everywhere, but it's like all put together in one series. But that's what I think.
I am more worried about one certain thing, and that is voice acting. The voice acting and the quality of the voice actors, I would say the actors say abysmal. Then no matter how good the script is, no matter how well directed the show will be, it will fall flat. And I really hope that Netflix take this seriously, since they after all have a multi-million, or I would say multi-billion-dollar franchise on their hands.
Right, and also I want to point one thing out. It hasn't been directly confirmed, but kind of implied that the series will debut sometime around 2016, which is around the 30th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series. Maybe Nintendo will plan this out in advance. Maybe they want to do something special for that 30th anniversary, and if that's the case, maybe Nintendo is actually really serious with this particular series, and maybe they have something special planned for it.
I would definitely agree, because when it comes to Nintendo and their projects, man, they are ninjas. And I really feel like the word slipped on this because the Wall Street Journal reported on it. I think someone from Netflix let this slip, and Nintendo's are like, these assholes don't even know what they're doing. And Nintendo is definitely like being very secretive, and I would definitely believe that something's on track for 2016. And I feel that like Netflix let it slip that, yeah, we're making this, and then Nintendo's like, you better shut your mouth. Don't tell them director, don't tell them writer. I'm pretty sure they may have all of that already. Maybe they'll have like auditions already set up for actor or whatever. On the case of Link and his voice acting, I feel that it will be fine as long as they take the personality they gave Link in the Ocarina of Time manga, which is humble and brave with a hint of cockiness. And I feel that if they gave him that kind of character in the live action show, I think they'll be just fine.
So what do you guys think about the discussion? I asked you guys on Twitter for future insight on this matter, and here are some of the tweets. At Zanjev30U said, I want a sequel to Ocarina of Time on either the Nintendo 64 or the Wii U, with the same style but extended. Now, that is a curious question, since there was cut content from Ura Zelda, which was a cut disc drive version of Ocarina of Time. I would love to see this content come back again in the future. Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda game, so I would love to see anything new about it. And Real Zeshix asks, will the Zelda cycle continue with Zelda Wii U? Well, yes, though we are not entirely sure when exactly in the timeline, but we'll make a future video on it. In fact, Commonwealth Realm and I are making the video as we speak and should be up relatively soon. Well, that's all I have to say now in this end. Also, this channel will be seeing some pretty neat collaborations in the future. Not confirming anything now, but you guys are in for a show in the future. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Till then, this is the video of the day.